Hello. Today's video, I'm gonna be making a tier list video. Ranking video of the 16 sorcerers in Kyoto and from Jujutsu High. And I'm gonna be ranking them from weakest to strongest. And yeah, let's just get into it. Oh, by the way, this will go into very deep manga territory, so you have been warned. At number 16, I have Aratanita from Kyoto High. I don't think his curse technique is bad, but I'm ranking them based on strength, and his curse technique has no offensive capabilities, so that's the reason why he's number 16. Next up is Kirara Hoshi from Jujutsu High. He, yes it's a he, is a 3rd grade alongside Hakari, but unlike Hakari's curse technique, Kirara's curse technique is quite bad and has also no offensive capabilities. Like, the idea is alright I guess, but it just doesn't work, apart from how we first encountered it. In that specific situation, it was very good, but I can't really imagine a scenario where it can do much more. Maybe when there's a big fight like there is right now at Jujutsu Kaisen chapter 247, it could be used to separate some sorcerers who've been injured by Sukuna from Sukuna, so that they can rush over to Shoko so they can be healed. But that's really a stretch. And also, even in that situation, even if Kirara manages to survive somehow, Sukuna could just use Dismantle or Cleave. So, yeah. Number 14 is Kyoto High's 3rd year Momo Nishimiya, and she by far has the most disappointing character in Kyoto Goodwill arc. And I just checked what her curse technique is, because I honestly forgot. I thought it was like air manipulation or something useful like that, but no, it's fucking tool manipulation. That has to be one of the most disappointing curse techniques. Her most noticeable feat is wasting time with Nobara and Panda in Kyoto Goodwill arc, where she sat on a tree while Nobara and Panda were trying to get her to go down and fight. And she has the nerve to say shit like, "Anyone who makes my comrades cry will pay," while being fucking useless. Number 13 is Jujutsu High's in the 1st year Kukisaki Nobara. Her curse technique has a lot of potential, but as we know, most likely that potential will never amount to anything anymore because of the little incident that happened during Shibuya. Unlike Nishimiya, Nobara actually has some noticeable feats, so like landing a black flash against SO and damaging Mahito, which previously was thought to be only possible by Itadori. I debated switching her with the number 12 spot, but I decided not to, and now transition number 12, Mai Zenin. Now hear me out. Even though her most noticeable feats are Gun Go Brrr and becoming a katana for Maki to use, I think her curse technique has a lot of potential. Like, her curse technique is an inherited one, that being construction. We were shown what was possible with that technique by Yorozu, a sorcerer from 1,000 years ago. So I honestly give her the edge over Nobara because of her curse technique might be actually amazing, but we will never know I guess. Number 11 is Panda. The number 11, 10, and 9 spots were hard to decide, but I think that Panda is number 11 because he has beaten Mekamaru in a fight, but of course, he was absolutely destroyed by Kashimo in the Culling Games. And he would have died if Hakari hadn't shown up in the nick of time. He survived, yes, but instead of having 3 cores, which he can switch with, he has only 1, so I think he pretty much isn't able to fight anymore. But when he did have 3 cores, he was actually pretty strong, I guess. Number 10 is Kasumi Miwa. Honestly, before making this video I thought I'd rank her way higher, but after looking at the characters, I could maybe rank her a bit higher. But I think this is a fair ranking. She has new shadow style, and that's the main reason why I ranked her this high. She doesn't really have any other feats apart from being a good singer and being funny. For example, even when Itadori's curse technique was taken away, he was still strong as fuck, said by Higaruma. And also at the start of the series, he casually broke 2 world records. But Miwa don't got that, so I can't really rate her much higher. Her most impressive feats are holding her own against pre-awakened Maki in Kyoto Goodwill arc. Number 9 is Toge no Maki. Now honestly, I think his curse technique, Cursed Speech, can be very powerful. He isn't at that level yet. For example, he has done some impressive feats like holding off Hanami for a while in Kyoto Goodwill and damaging Geto in Jujutsu Kaisen 0, but the repercussions are very big. so curse technique isn't that useful unless the user also has reversed curse technique. Next up is the protagonist himself, Itadori Yuji. Now his base stats are insane. He's very strong. Literally, in the first episode, he broke 2 world records. His cursed skills aren't quite on par because he got his powers from the king of curses, Sukuna. Itadori can't use curse techniques. That's the main thing holding him back. Also his inexperience and naivety, but his ability to do Black Flash is very useful. He has the record of consecutive Black Flashes landed in a row alongside Nanami. His most impressive feats are Itadori and Nanami versus Mahito, Itadori and Todo versus Mahito, Hanami versus Itadori and Todo, Joso versus Itadori, and Sukuna versus Itadori. In the manga, in the anime, so far he's been absolutely destroyed. He is pretty much the opposite of Miwa, I think. While Miwa gets carried by her technique, Itadori doesn't have a technique and relies on his physical strength to do what he has done. Number 7 is Noritoshi Kamo, not Kenjaku. The reason why I placed him so high is because of his inherited technique, blood manipulation. It is a very good technique, as we have seen what is possible with Choso. But Noritoshi just can't do the same things as Choso, because Noritoshi can only use blood of his own or from containers he carries around. So that makes it very limited to what he can do. But his technical potential is very great. He's a natural born leader and he can take charge and can do what is needed when others can't. He currently probably can't win against Itadori, but I think his curse technique makes him deserving a higher rank than Yuji. Number 6 is a close one. I could honestly switch it with number 5, but I think they're both very similar in strength, and that number 6 spot is Megumi Fushiguro. Well, he does have a very strong curse technique. It's kind of like that one meme goes, Megumi is Mr. Potential Man. He does have the potential to surpass Gojo, but only if he gets every Shikigami in his arsenal under his control. And that includes Mahoraga, which I'm not even sure if you can exercise Mahoraga with all 9 other Shikigami. 15 Finger Sukuna could barely exercise it himself, but if Mahoraga is controlled, then 10 Shadows technique might be one of the strongest curse techniques in the whole franchise. But Megumi only got 5 Shikigami under his control. Sukuna, when he took over Megumi's body, got all 10 Shikigami under his control, so he could go toe-to-toe with Gojo. Megumi's most impressive feats are an incomplete domain expansion, 1v4 against Reggie's star group at the start of Culling Games, and beating a finger bearer alone. Number 5 is Mekamaru. After getting his body back, he went straight to fighting Mahito and Kenjaku, but of course, as we know, he got brutally killed, so we don't really get to see him much in action. But from what we have seen, I think he deserves top 5 spot in this list. His curse technique is puppet manipulation, and as the name suggests, he controls puppets. And what makes his curse technique so good is the fact he has heavenly restriction, which allows him to use his technique all over Japan in exchange for having his body very weak and fragile. That's why he helped Kenjaku in making the Shibuya assault. He did it so Mahito would revert his body back to how it was. Right after doing so, he did his most impressive feat, almost killing Mahito, and using a simple domain to counter Mahito's domain expansion. Also, another important thing that is worth mentioning, I think, is that Kenjaku said that only if it's for a short time, his cursed energy output is that of a special grade. So yeah, keep that in mind. Number 4 is Aoi Toda, but he could be placed as number 3 on this list, but I don't think so. His curse technique is Boogie Woogie, which pretty much lets him swap himself or others with anything above a certain level of cursed energy. It is a very simple technique, but because Todo makes very good use of it, paired with the fact that he is on par or even stronger than Itadori in physical power, it is a very strong curse technique. He has also very good feats like Todo and Itadori versus Hanami, Todo and Itadori versus Mahito, and during the attack on Kyoto by Geto, he single-handedly beat 5 grade 1 curses and a special grade curse. Number 3 is Awakened Maki. Now, if it was pre-Awakened Maki, I think she would have placed maybe 6th. But after Awakening, she's a completely different beast. She has Heavenly Restriction, but a different one from Mekamaru's. Maki's makes her have 0 cursed energy. She's incapable of seeing curses without special gear, but after Awakening, she can't see curses too. But in exchange for not being able to see curses, she's insanely strong. Pre-awakened Maki would have probably lost Itadori in a physical contest, but after awakening, it is a different story. She beat Naoya's special grade cursed spirit form, which moved at Mach 3 or breaking the sound barrier. So I think she's fairly placed at number 3. Number 2 and number 1 can also be swapped, but I think number 2 is Kinji Hakari. He is insanely strong and has an insanely strong curse. When Itadori was hit by Hakari's punches, he said it was like being hit by a serrated bat. That was because Hakari's curse technique is quite rough, it has been said. I'm not quite sure how to explain that, and if Hakari hits a jackpot with his domain expansion, he's quite literally immortal for 4 minutes and 11 seconds. The chances of hitting the jackpot are 1 in 239, but as he said, he's never had to roll over 30 times. His most impressive feat is Hakari versus Kashimo, who's a god of lightning, and Yuto said that when Hakari gets worked up, he can get stronger than Yuta. And at number 1 is Jujutsu High's second year Okotsu Yuta. His curse technique might be one of the best ones in the series, that being copy. He can copy the technique of anyone by physical contact. It is seen that he has copied cursed speech and sky manipulation. He also has the most cursed energy out of any character in the series, even more than Gojo, and because of the 6 sizes help, Gojo, using any curse technique, uses an infinitively close to 0 amount of cursed energy in anything he uses. So he can never run out of cursed energy. But along with having the most cursed energy in the series, he can also summon Rika, who can kind of like replenish his cursed energy, store his cursed tools, and fight alongside Yuta. And with all this being said, he can also use reversed curse technique. He has been said to be the second strongest sorcerer, only second to Satoru Gojo. So that's my ranking. If there's anything you disagree on, please be sure to let me know. What's the thing that you disagree about, and tell me how would you change it down in the comment section below. Check out my channel for more anime and manga stuff. Bye now.